Hey everybody, this is Perch, and ever since we did the review of Dick Fight Island, you've been asking for more manga reviews. So this one is called Booty Royale, subtext Never Go Down Without a Fight, by Rui Takato. And this one is kind of, this is a different story. So this is a manga, is not a cape or superhero book. It's a little bit of a, I guess you would say fighting. No, that's probably not a good genre either. Anyway, this first book contains 7 chapters, and the basic premise here is that we're introduced to a Hayabaru Misora. She's 18 from Okinawa, and she basically, her dream is to make it big as a singer. So she goes to Tokyo to be a singer. She gets hooked up with Sanada Hikaru, and a tale as old of time. He is a president of Space Wolf Entertainment Productions. And basically, she doesn't get to be a singer, or rather, she doesn't really kind of make it work. She has, her family has trained her to do karate. She runs a dojo, and since a young child, since 2, she has perfected her fighting techniques. So Misora is basically, unfortunately, not being a singer. She gets hooked up into being a gravure idol, and that's basically, if you're not familiar with what that is, so it's in effect, there it's models in Japan who pose as in swimsuits or in lingerie, who are basically pinup models. It kind of varies how far this stuff goes. Usually, it goes farther than you would assume in the U.S. These gravure models are typically, I would say, they put Band-Aids over the nipples or stuff like that. It's not like Sports Illustrated swimsuit. It's several levels past that. Anyway, so she's been a model, kind of doing her kind of mixed. I'm skilled at karate, and she wears like a really small gi, and plenty of exposure. Her manager, or her president, Sanada, basically informs her that her next job is going to be as an AV model or an AV idol, and that basically, you might what is AV? Well, AV is basically adult video actress, so she's going to be in porn, she'll get dressed up, and this AV model has a wide range too, but she's not excited about doing this. She really, all she wanted to do was be a singer, but it'll pay more, and it's a step up and everything else. She's very tortured by doing it, but she kind of is informed that if she doesn't go through with it, that she's going to have to pay back the money that this agency has spent on her to become a model, and she's basically hosed into to being a adult video model. And it's the comic, the manga gives several scenes of her basically being humiliated and really uncomfortable with all this, just to make you feel good about the whole situation. And the president here of this operation is a complete sleazeball. They talk about how money's tight at home, and siblings are in college, father has passed on. It's the only way to help your family. So basically, she's tricked into porn, is the idea. But here's where she turns it around a little bit. So she shows up, and she meets a director, and that's when she learns that it's not just any adult video thing that she's been put into. Instead, it's a all-idol black belt 100-man open, and if she loses, she has to have sex with 100 guys in one giant line of men. And so that's our setup. So she basically is going to these fighting contests. She's got to fight through 100 men in order to escape being molested by 100 men. That's your comic here. So anyway, she lots of scenes here of her kind of imagining in like a gladiator outfit while a bunch of skeletons rush her and everything else. So that's basically the setup. And this manga from here goes for, basically she meets a number of super creepy, awkward, gropey men who, are all over her. But she kind of one by one, basically is able to knock them out. So she and this is where it fairly brutal fighting. I mean, it shows her knocking out teeth and blood flying everywhere. And then you turn the page and she's eating a banana that's held up by her chest. So I mean, the comic moves in a lot of directions, I guess, in all these ways. So anyway, she's fighting through and doing okay. You're kind of uncomfortable reading this, but anyway, she's got a knockout technique that she is consistently using, but we keep getting all kinds of creepier and creepier men, and so finally we get one that's like a super groper, and she's able to go through him, and then we get a woman that is here who's the Princess of Pounding. And so she's kind of an Amazon, and this winds up being a pretty big challenge here about this woman who's really, really into adult video porn. And they have a huge fight. And by the way, I should note at this point, she's fighting in basically a very skimpy karate outfit that's lost it almost immediately, and a bikini. And the bikini then starts to lose pieces of that too. So anyway, she's completely nude at one point. She lost everything, but the good news is she does win. So this video they make is Booty Royale. Nothing is more vile than human nature, and she completes her match. Basically, gets through 55 men, and then 45 men leave because they're basically getting decimated and destroyed. But anyway. As a result, because she won her match, she finally gets to sing. And this is where we learn, kind of by chapter 3 or 4, that she's a terrible singer and just awful. And this is her start into being an AV model. So the rest of the first volume gives us, this was kind of the first 3 chapters. The other chapters kind of one-off stories. We learn about, she has to kind of do various contests. There's one where there's a TV gig where she has to smash a watermelon with her breasts. And so she has to train to do that. And she finally figures out how. And then there's another one where there's some kind of like night party that she gets invited into, which sets up kind of another contest where she has to fight a sumo wrestler guy and, of course, naked. So, I mean, the manga is pretty much, this isn't high art. It's definitely explicit content. There's no doubt about that. Eventually, the manga kind of evolves where she starts to meet other people who are in the business, and they form a bit of a friendship. And then there's the rival, the woman who was in her original battle, comes back, and they have to fight a little bit. But basically, in short, this manga is about a woman who's trying to kind of navigate her way through being in the adult video industry, but actually doesn't ever have sex with anyone. That's kind of the other point in all this is she manages to be in tons of skimpy, terrible outfits. Nothing is left to the imagination in this comic, and it is absolutely what it is. It is erotic, a manga. And it's a woman who's basically finds herself in various states of undress as she tries to battle a bunch of men. That's the manga. So now it's very nicely done. I mean, looks pretty. Art is great. Shading good. I mean, it's produced perfectly fine. It wanders between comedy and something else, whatever the else is, at various times. But if your thing is, I'd like to see a bunch of women fighting, sometimes making out, usually naked, this is the manga for you. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and you definitely wouldn't want to. This is a manga you wouldn't want to like have laying around in your house when friends or a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it happens to be kind of wandering over. I mean, I don't know. You want to put this one in the cabinet. Anyway, this is Booty Royale. It's available on Amazon. You can find it other places. Some stores will carry it, probably not too many. But there you go. So run right out. You could see a woman in a karate outfit smash a watermelon with her breasts. What else do you have going for you here? She's not, at no point during this entire comic does she tweet. So, you got that going for you. Thanks for listening.